begin.
I'd like to welcome everybody to our very first podcast. My name is Zeppelin. This is Empress. And we are Wingz Alwayz, making 100 CEOs. And I want to bring you all aboard on this journey that we're on. With Wingz, it's not just a restaurant. It's not just your next restaurant. It's a social venue, the ultimate social venue. And what I want to do is allow everyone to understand the journey, where it came from, how it was developed, how it was born, and where it's going. So it's the people that make it what it is. So let's get in here and let's talk about making 100 CEOs, Wingz Alwayz. So first, I want to say that we're going to kind of just do some episodes. This is my first one, so, don't judge me too much. But, we will grow. We'll grow in this process together. So what we want to talk about is who we are, because that's important. You have to know who I am. You have to know who she is. You have to know who all of our guests that we're going to bring on. We got a lineup that's going to be incredible. We all have to know who they are, because starting to know who someone is takes you along with them on their journey, so you know who they are. So let's start with me. My name is Zeppelin, and you know what? No, ladies first. Let's start with Empress. Empress, how are you today?
I'm good.
Awesome. Tell us about you, Empress. Who is Empress?
Okay, well, I am a widow, a single mother, and I'm also a business owner. I have several different businesses, and I just always wanted to build generational wealth, not only for myself and for my children, but also for my family. My whole team has to win.
True.
So, it doesn't do any good. I'm still losing if I'm winning and everybody around me are still down. So I just feel like, it's a team effort. You got to build your community and things like that. And just been working on my own since 16. I've been just starting from there, trying to find other things to do.
Okay.
I have several degrees, but who cares about degrees when you're trying to build your own business, your own legacy?
I guess that kind of brings us to where we are today.
Yeah.
And where we are today is talking about, at what point did you go from thinking in your mind, I'm going to be an employee because I went to college, I did all the right things, I'm the first generation graduate, and now I got to go out and find that company that I got to work for the next 30 years. Where did you go from that excitement of thinking of working for somebody for 30 years to becoming an owner and working for yourself?
Okay.
How did you transition to
Well, I've never had a dream of being an employee. Okay. My dream has always been to work for myself. When I was younger, I was like, okay, I want to be an attorney and a doctor and all of that stuff. And I just was like, you know what? I don't have time to work for somebody else, to make somebody else rich, to make somebody else dream a reality. And I just really wanted to build my own dream for my family, for my future children. So even at a young age, I've always wanted to do my own thing. My goal was always to be retired by the age of 30 and live my life.
Nice.
And so that was always my goal. That was always the bigger plan for me. Mm-hmm. I just really wanted to build something that had meaning. I wanted to leave an impact on how, the world was. I wanted to make a difference, not only for me, but for the people that are important to me in my life.
That sounds good. Sounds wonderful, actually.
And what about you?
For me, it was a little bit different. I started out on the same path. I'm going to college, I'm going to become an attorney, and I'm going to change the world. That was my thought path. I'm going to become an attorney and I'm going to change the world. So, once I got to college, I ended up having to pay for college. I didn't have, the scholarships, the things that I needed. I was bright, but I didn't do the right things to get myself positioned. Or I didn't have a team behind me when I was in high school, grade school, to give me that mindset, to get myself in position to be, that scholar that I should be or that I could be. So I ended up having to work through college. And so I worked at this place called Ponderosa Steakhouse. It was just this buffet place, I don't even know if they still exist anymore. I think the closest thing to them is now a Golden Corral. So it was kind of like a Golden Corral. But anyway, I'm working at this Ponderosa, and this management position comes up. And so I'm like, I'm management material. I got a great personality. I can do this. And so I, went into my boss's office, and I'm like, I want to be a manager. What do I have to do? And so he kind of just said, well, I'm going to look at you over the next couple of months, and we'll see. So I'm on my best behavior. Next couple of months, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. I'm working, I'm this and that. So I go back in front of my boss again. I'm excited. I know our sales are good. I've been at work on time. And I say, I want to be a manager. So it's a couple of months. So again, well, let's look at it the next couple of months. At this point, I knew for me, I was out working everybody in that place because I was going to be the best because that was something that I wanted. I wanted to be the next manager. So I was going to be the best at it. So I, started thinking, is it me or is it him? And so I went back, I was like, all right. So I was extra. Never late. No customer complaints. I was cleaning the parking lot before the customers even got there. I made sure everything was perfect. And I went back in front of him, and he said, we've already selected someone. And it was a guy who had just started, and he just happened to be white. Now, we're not going to go down that road. I'm not making it a racial thing. But what I want to say is that this person who came in, who just happened to be white, wasn't qualified, hadn't proved himself, hadn't done what I did over the last 9 months to show that I can run your establishment. So they were looking for a look. And that's why I brought up white, black, whatever. They were looking for a look. I didn't fit that look. But I was a great employee, so they weren't going to just cancel me, but they was going to dangle that carrot, but never give it to me. Their intentions were never to give it to me. So that was my first taste of I have to be better, and I have to do things better, and I have to always be on my game. So that was my first taste of it. So the next instance, I leave that company. In fact, how I left that company is really, really funny. Let me go back. I was on my game, doing my thing. And there was a guy who came in, I'll never forget. He was a tall guy, tall white guy. And he came in and he sat down and he was like, listen, I'm in a hurry. I just want the buffet, some water, and, I got to get some work done. So I'm like, absolutely. So I took care of that guy. Got him his water, got him, hey, what do you need off the buffet? If you need anything, I can get it for you. You're busy, So I treated him like I was treating a customer that, like I treat all the rest of them, because here I am gunning for this job. And even though I didn't get it, it wasn't going to change how I felt about customers and how I felt about the service and the people who chose to come. So he ends up coming up to me when he was getting ready to leave, and instead of handing me a tip, he says, I don't have any cash on me, but I got something better. And he said, I'm the regional vice president of Sodexo. And I was in here to just have a dinner, but I was so impressed by you. You take this number, you call, and you tell them I sent you. So I did that. I took that number. I called the next day. The recruiter already knew who I was. They set me up for a phone interview, flew me to Memphis the next week for a face-to-face interview, and I had the job, just like that. So although I'm working hard for this person, somebody else noticed me. And that's why you never should change up who you are, what you're doing, and the goal and the track that you're on, because just because that person you think or the direction that you think you're going in, you want them to notice you. No, somebody else notices you. Somebody else who's bigger, better, and can take you to a different place. I wanted to be that guy. I wanted to be that person that could recognize people and pick them up and take them to a better place. And so that's why, for me, I was like, I don't want to be an employee of a company. I don't want to work hard and gun for a certain manager. I want to be that person that helps that next person make that next step. And not about just a vision of what the company wants, but about a vision of what that person can accomplish, what that person can do. So it brought me to a point of understanding that until I get there, I still have to work for someone. But as I'm on my journey, start building for myself. And that's what I started doing. So about 10 years ago, I got the mindset of build for myself. Take a little bit of what I get from where I'm working, put that away, and build a little bit on myself. And no matter what I do, make sure that is for what you're going to do or the direction you're going in. And this is for you. And that's what I started doing. So I started doing little bitty jobs, or, I think my first thing I did, tried out, was selling cars, buying and selling cars. And I would just, pick up a car from somebody for $500, resell it for $1,000. I was like, I just made $500, but I still had a job. So, it was just those little things. I knew that in order for me to get to where I need to go, I have to take a little bit from where I'm at to transition from being an employee to one day being an owner. And once I got to that level of being an employee to an owner, then there was no stopping me. I was going to go to that next level, from an owner to a CEO, from a CEO to someone who's over all CEOs. I wanted to move up that ladder so that I could always be in a position to bring that next person up. Because it takes me back to what is the reason that we're doing all of this? We have kids. And unfortunately, we live in a society that still has a little bit of disdain for the black race or the Hispanic race or a race that's non-white. Mm-hmm. So when we live in that society, we have to conform to their rules and their regulations, or we have to be as powerful as them to even be heard. So if we're not as powerful as them, we're never going to be heard. So when you want to change the Trayvon Martin's getting shot in the street, when you want to change the people getting choked out by police, people being shot, when you want to change that, you can't change it through protest. You can't change it through march. You can't change it through political avenues. You change it through power. Because if Trayvon Martin's father was a billionaire, that would never have happened to him. If that guy that's getting choked out with 7 cops on top of him, grandfather, was a billionaire, that would never happen to him. When do we watch any billionaire's kids in the streets getting shot by cops, getting strangled, or getting any kind of misjustice? Because it doesn't happen. You know why? Because our economy is what rules the world. Not your color, not your race, not if you're white, black, Korean. Our economy is what rules the world. So how do we become a part of the rulers? Is we have to be in control of our economy.
Well, we're the number one consumers, so
And we are.
They make up over $1 trillion a year off of just us: hair, nails, clothing, TVs, all this extra crap. We are the number one consumers, and if all Black people or people of color, any race that's not white, would say, you know what, instead of spending our money with you, we're gonna go take it to someone else who is of the same background, then that's when we'll make the difference, because now we're hitting them where it hurts, in the pockets. And so, that's where you gotta start, is hit them where it hurts.
Right. You have to be a part. You have to be a part of the club. You have to sit at the table. I think about Africa. Let's talk about Africa. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine earlier today, and we was talking about Africa. Mm-hmm. Africa has this nation where they control cocoa beans. Mm-hmm. Every country, chocolate is a huge industry. They control the diamond industry. Jewelry is 1,000,000 times more worth. It comes out of the ground $100 and it goes out over in California for $50,000. So they control the land. They control a lot of the livestock.
Our cell phones
controls this whole bit of everything that we need as a nation and other nations to survive, but they are raped because they don't have a government or control of themselves. So other people come and exploit them. Russia sends in the militia and exploit them and make them have wars in this side of the country. And then they split up this side of the country. And then they say South Africa is just for this side of these people. But if Africa, that nation, came together, they are the superpower.
Yeah.
But they are an oppressed superpower.
I mean, our cellular devices, the chips that goes in our cellular devices come from there. So, from the material that is
true.
Yeah.
So, once we start understanding that, and once we start understanding that a seat at the table is not just money, or not just race, or not just a seat at the table, is understanding that economy is power, and power is economy. And if you want your race of people, or you want your group of people, or if you want your family to have a fair shot in life, give them a little bit of power. And so that's kind of where we are. We want to talk about growth through nothing and where it can take you. And so I want everyone to come on this journey with us, because we're going to grow together. You're going to see who we are now. You're going to meet the next 100 CEOs. And when I say the next 100 CEOs, Wingz Alwayz is a franchise. It's a business. It's a social venue. And you guys, my name is Zeppelin Rice. I began my restaurant career when I was 15 years old. I started in fast food, but casual dining is where I fell in love with the business. My philosophy is simple. Customers have plenty of options where they can eat, but we will always guarantee you a positive dining experience. That's why I want to introduce the world to the ultimate social venue, Wingz Alwayz. Wingz Alwayz features delicious chicken wings prepared with many sauces and cooking options. We'll also feature local favorites to pay homage to your hometown. We'll even have other cuisines on site: soul food, vegan, Mexican, all around the world, Indonesian delights. As you see, we don't just stop at delicious wings. Wingz Alwayz will have an atmosphere like none other. Every location will feature performance spaces to entertain our guests. We'll have gathering places to meet with friends and family. We'll provide spaces to feature and promote local and worldwide artists. We're not just a restaurant, we are a destination, the ultimate social venue. How we construct our locations and their impact on our environment is also our top priority. Wingz Alwayz locations are engineered from recyclable shipping containers. These sustainable building blocks are structurally sound and environmentally friendly. Finally, the most exciting facet of our brand is our radical approach to ownership. It's not all about how much money you have in your bank account. Potential owners can provide a sweat equity investment to qualify for their ownership. Franchisees will invest their time and their energy in a rigorous leadership training program. So if you qualify to work at a Wingz Alwayz, you qualify to own a Wingz Alwayz franchise. We want to go beyond serving our communities to building our community. Friends, family, customers, anyone I've come in contact with, you have felt the excitement of this project and understand the time, the patience, and the attention to details that I've put into this. Please help make this dream our reality. $50 is a great start, but anything helps. This project takes a great deal of funds, so please share and challenge all of your friends and family to join in this ultimate social venue that will be like no other, and only you will be responsible for making it possible. Thank you in advance, and I look forward to working for you. Go to the link below. It'll show you what Wingz is, but it's a social venue, and it's a franchise that's gonna connect 100 other cultures and 100 other people and all around the world together as one. And when you can do that, then you're pooling money together as opposed to you trying to just make $1 billion by yourself. It's not about being by ourselves. It's about coming together, and it's about having something that's able to be sustained. And I know I'm over talking, and I'm sorry, but I got one more story that we got to get out. One more story. So, everyone remembers Tulsa burning. So it was the Black Wall Street is what it was called. We're in Oklahoma City. So Tulsa was only an hour and 20 minutes away from me. So everyone knows the history of Black Wall Street. And let me give you an example. Black people at that point came together, and this is them. They're in this saucer, and you may not be able to see this on the table, but let me pick it up. They're in this saucer. So they decided that I don't need to go outside to get any kind of wealth from anywhere else. We're gonna build it right here. And they did a great job of being self-sustained.
They spent their money.
They had their own money. They had their own land. Everyone owned their own houses. It was wonderful, and they didn't need anybody else from outside of this circle. But what happened was the vulnerability was this circle. Because they're not extended anywhere else, we can drop this glass and break it. And that's exactly what happened.
They didn't have the support outside. They didn't have the support
outside that circle. And what we have to do that's different from them and what we learned from our ancestors is that if we pull all together, Africa, Europe, we all have that same purpose and that same goal. You can't just break a circle. Yeah. You have to break a universe. Who can break a universe? No one. No one. So that's what we have to do different. And that's where we're starting. So this first episode is called going from employee to owner. And you know a little bit about Erica now. You know a little bit about myself. I want you to look at yourselves and figure out, do you want to work for somebody your entire life? And hope that you have a retirement in place, or hope that they pay you
your Social Security
20-cent raise. You working hard, and I'm like, I'm gonna get a 20. Ooh, I got my 20-cent raise. Think about that. You got a 20-cent raise for the hard work that you do. We have to change that mindset. We have to turn that switch on that we're better. We can be bigger. We can become something more
than the bare minimum.
And just somebody's employee. And Wingz Alwayz, Zeppelin, Erica, And all the guests that you're going to meet that come in and out of this room is going to take us to that next level. We're going to do it together.